Okay, new business is a presentation of legal case L.M.A. versus Martha Esch, Director Stuart Walthall.
Okay, now, one of the issues that was brought up in the petition that I really agreed with, and even though it wasn't that specific, the feel of it was the property owners want and need transparency. In year 2020, I admit that, well, I don't have to admit anything. I wasn't on that board. We only have one member on this board that was back in 2020, or from the board that resigned. But I do think Locke Management had the opportunity to at least present more transparency in order to, for one thing, keep a lot of fallacious and non-factual rumors from traveling around. So I was asked by Chairman Shaw to give a presentation on the Martha Esch lawsuit in which...
Sorry, interrupt. How is the sound quality that you guys hear?
Fine.
I was asked by our chairman to give a summation of the monumental task of explaining the litany of Martha Esch lawsuits with the Locke Management Association, Locke Corporation. So, good fortune for me is our newest director, Ms. Sue Wilson, representing the Locke Foundation, has a legal background. She was assistant district attorney in Sacramento, and she volunteered to go through public record the court cases involving Superior Court, the Court of Appeals, and the HUD lawsuit that Martha Esch filed against the Locke Management Association. It took Sue 19 and a half hours to compile this. There was over 600 docket entries in Superior Court. There was just a ton of legal forms to go through. So I want to thank Ms. Wilson. Rather than going through it now, depending on the size of the type or the format that it was sent out, myself, I had 23 or 24 pages of this litigation summary. It's there for the property owners to read. In fact, it's all public record. It's there for any resident of Locke. It's there for social media. It's there for print media. So, and I want to thank Sue Wilson again. This is kind of a two-part report, and I'm sure our chairman will let us have public comment on both these items, but because one is so directly associated with the other, and that would be the financial summary. And I think this is particularly important for the property owners of Locke because they just did not know how big was the bill. How much do the property owners of Locke owe to BPE law? So this did go out, and it's pretty straightforward. The Locke Management Corporation owes BPE Locke $292,492.19 as of July 9th, 2021. Judgments with interests which are not appealable against Martha Esch total $342,305.34. There's also a pending motion for the courts for July 28th to request another $65,000. These are attorney fees accrued in the final Esch appeal process, or the final appeal. And if that's granted, it'll increase Martha Esch's judgments to $407,305.34. and what Martha owes to BPE laws, accruing $72 a day in interest. So that's my report.
All right, so everybody has read most of the content that our board member Wilson has compiled. Okay, and since I think this is an item that everybody has been, not everybody, but many of the members have been waiting and longing for. So do we have any questions from the members?
I just have one comment, that everything in that document comes directly from the public record. It is all taken verbatim from the public record, all the documents that have been filed in court. So anyone who is so inclined could look, track along with that litigation summary and look up each of those case numbers on the Superior Court, Sacramento Superior Court website. You can look up the cases there. You can look up the appeals court cases using those case numbers with the 3rd DCA's court number, their search site. And you can look at the full documents. You can see that these are just summaries of the court documents, the documents that were filed in court on each of those dates, and that the language is taken directly from those documents. It is not something that just came out of my head. It is all from the official court record. So you could track along if you wanted to check each and every entry. The only thing I did, I think, was in maybe 2 places. I just provided definitions of a couple of legal terms so the people would understand what the term was in a couple of court rulings. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I think, again, it's a monumental task, and this is very detailed and very well organized. So if anybody will just read along line by line, I think the whole story, whole truth will be revealed.
And I'd like to add to my report a thank you to the previous L.M.A. board for hanging in. Lawyers for Ms. Esch had threatened they were going to bankrupt this town on more than one occasion. Previous L.M.A. board of directors hung in, worked with BPE law, worked closely, and didn't give up. So my short term on this board really is standing on the shoulders of the old L.M.A. board. So I want to thank them.
Yes, thank you, thank the previous board, and thank you for your perseverance and your strength. Okay, so may I ask? I think Ms. Mendel has.
Martha had her hand up first.
Okay, Ms. Esch, would you like to have something to say? I give you 3 minutes.
Let Ms. Mendel go first. Thank you.
2 minutes.
Let Ms. Mendel go first, please. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Mendel. Okay, please recognize 2 minutes.
Ha ha ha. I think that Ms. Esch is hoping that she'll have something to comment about my comment. But I'm not going to offer that. What I shall say is, well, thank you, Stuart. Thank you for those appreciation of the hell that the previous board went through and how we stuck to our guns. And I was going to say earlier that I thought Ms. Wilson was overqualified to be on this board. But now I see she has come to the rescue in a manner that I hadn't imagined. And I so appreciate what she created for the rest of the members. I could have never done anything like that. And the tenacity and the knowledge that she brings to the board is very much appreciated. I want to thank her very much for volunteering and giving, offering all of your skills to the association and to the town of Locke. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I think you were the pillar of this turmoil. All right, Ms. Esch.
Thank you. I would like to tell anybody out there who gives a darn about any of this, which probably is less than a handful of people, but anybody who is interested should read my public comment, my written public comment that I sent on last Thursday to the board clerk, and they attached it today to this agenda. Please read that written public comment. And there were the Locke Management Association, Tony Lee's petition, which I signed, asks for an audit. This is not an audit. Ms. Wilson, it's very nice of you to summarize by date and rewrite the court docket for some of the cases, but you omitted the 3 courthouses that the Locke Management and BPE Law Group had for 13 years, not just 11 years, but 13 years running now, with Donna LeBlanc, the co-defendant. You haven't mentioned any of those court cases in your accounting or your summary. And you didn't mention the 3 court cases against other people in the association that Ms. Mendel had an open phone line with BPE Law Group on for portions of the past decade. Thank you. And your right of first refusal policy, which took away my home ownership, is discriminatory. You shouldn't have to fit a certain race or ancestry or national origin to own a property in Locke and to keep from being sued by a group of crony, self-elected directors.
All right, thank you. Ms. Esch. 2 minutes up, and I think whatever you want to say, you can look at the court case. That the judges make their judgment.
I have a comment.
All right.
I didn't include other cases because those were not relevant to the agenda item that was on this evening. The agenda item was a presentation of the legal case L.M.A. versus Martha Esch. And so those other cases were not relevant to that, this particular agenda, and were not part of the request that I received to, prepare a legal summary. The language used in the summary is lifted directly from all of the court documents, the court rulings, and the court filings from both sides. So I didn't write it. I just put it into the summary. And just the other cases were not relevant to the agenda item.
And I'd like to make a point too with Martha bringing up her ethnicity. She knows doggone good and well this happened during the HUD suit that she filed against the town, where she admitted under oath that her ethnicity had nothing to do with this first right of refusal. So she's going to keep bringing that up, but bear in mind she said under oath that her ethnicity had nothing to do with this.
And the courts ruled that that was an invalid argument. HUD ruled there was no discrimination, and the Superior Court ruled there was no discrimination, and the third DCA even refused to hear that claim.
So I say again that, for the members who really care about this matter, please go through our compilation and refer to the public court material, right? Those public court material are accessible to everybody, and then you can look, read, and refer, and you can see a clear picture. Okay, Mr. Marlowe.
Thank you, Chairman Hodgson. So first, I want to say thank you to Sue Wilson, a marvelous job of putting together a detailed analysis and what had happened. And thank you to Stuart for recognizing the previous board, which I was on. I think the heart of the matter goes to this idea that Martha continuously claims that she's a victim, whether it be in the courts or in the town here, that she has been the one who has been injured. Well, the courts have said that's not so, and that we, the town, the Management Association, and all the property owners here are truly the victims of a relentless attack upon all of us. And for her motives, yes, I had heard from her mouth that she said that she wants the destruction of the L.M.A. That is what she wants. So all of this is just playing this out. She wants to bankrupt us. That was her goal. She doesn't want to pay her assessments. So the courts have ruled continuously in our favor. We have to really let all the members of the board and the membership know that it is Martha who is causing all of these problems. We are simply in reaction to her motive, to what she is doing. Thank you for my time.
And I think I would like to stand the justice system. I think it shows that we have got justice. Okay, any more comments?
Are you doing public comments, or are we still discussing as a board?
Well, I just have one more comment to add as far as the comment that we received. It was supposed to be Ms. Esch's email or public comment that she had emailed in accusing Mr. Walthall or whoever's responsible for the board packet that it was defamatory. But the definition of defamation requires false statements, and nothing in the litigation summary is a false statement at all. And I want to emphasize that everything in it comes from the court documents. So it is all factually based. There is no grounds for defamation whatsoever.
Okay. So on 5/20/2011, the L.M.A. filed the complaint against Esch and LeBlanc for specific enforcement of the transfer of the Levy Road property to L.M.A., allegedly a known breach of the CC&Rs. So on these figures on the last page, I know there was a settlement with LeBlanc. Is that included in these figures on the last page?
If you turn to page 18, you'll find the reference.
Okay. And then
would you do that on your own time, please? Because it's just too much.
Okay, so that's on the last page. Then that's been deducted from.
I'm sorry. That's page 18 of mine.
Okay.
Like I had mentioned. Let me give you a date on that, Lisa. By the way, are you speaking for Sacramento County right now?
No, I'm just speaking. I'm just trying to understand as a board member if the LeBlanc settlement is in the outstanding attorney fees, or were they paid for there was a settlement with the LeBlanc, so it's not listed on the attorney fees judgment. So I'm just trying to understand this as a board member, if the LeBlanc amount was deducted from this.
Yeah, if you look up 7/24/20, that's the date.
Okay.
You'll see that. Cindy's talking about $25,000.
So on the 72-day interest, is that split between the attorneys and the L.M.A.?
No, that's attorney fees being accrued.
Okay, but all right. So who ends up with that $72 per day? Maybe Sue Wilson can answer that for me.
Well, that $72 a day in interest is accruing on the outstanding judgment.
Right. So that will that go to the L.M.A. or that'll go to BPE law firm?
It should all go to the BPE law firm, at least to satisfy whatever fees are owed. And then I believe that anything that might be remaining would go to the L.M.A., but I really don't know that there would be anything remaining because these are just attorney's fees.
Right. That's what I was wondering.
But the judgments are against Esch in favor of the L.M.A. in order to pay attorney's fees.
Which at this time we owe approximately
$292,492.
So there's a difference between the amounts. So if it's like 100,000, that would go back to the L.M.A. Does anybody know the answer to this?
No, that we should look into that because I don't know how these figures exactly stack up.
Yeah.
Because I'm new on the board and I did the litigation summary.
Right.
Sue is also not privy to the lawyer conversations.
Right. But I think, going back to the ask for an audit of the attorney fees and, how much did we pay them? Because I'm just going to put out there was a rumor that they were being paid $1,000 a month. And I don't know. I've never seen a contract.
Yeah, a rumor, I wouldn't believe rumors because L.M.A's never had enough money to pay these.
Well, they actually did for a while.
There has been money paid.
Okay.
The old L.M.A. board, and to give it a real quick summary.
Hello, did everybody just get frozen?
No.
To
Okay,
give a quick summary on money that has been paid or credited to the L.M.A., there was a $50,000 credit when Martha sued the estate of her dead husband, or deceased husband, pardon me. She was to receive, this is in the report, so it was $150,000, went to several different lawyers and the administrator of the estate. $50,000 of that went to the L.M.A., credited to the L.M.A.
Okay.
Also, there was a profit made on the building Esch illegally purchased, the thing that started this whole lawsuit that she lost. The L.M.A. sold it, and a profit was made on that. And a chunk of that money went to satisfy legal fees. There was also the LeBlanc suit that you're referring to, and there was a settlement of $25,000.
Right.
So this is part of the reason, because I can't give you every single detail because I don't have it in front of me, but there is a $50,000 difference between what the L.M.A., what the property owners owe BPE law, and what Martha Esch owes the L.M.A. If we anticipate the same outcome with this new January 28th request from our attorneys, 2021 request for another $65,000, that is over $100,000 different between what Esch owes the L.M.A., what the L.M.C., and what the L.M.C. owes the lawyers.
Okay, thank you.